Hi, it's 1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Legacy version of Xbox. And little did I know when I sent this person the please stop for scam message that I was going to end up engaging him in a conversation that lasted an hour following him combat logging on me. Now, he's only a harmless anaconda, but he's in Seoul, so that means he's got the Seoul permit, so he has been around some time, and he's an anaconda, so he has been around some time. So he's a legit piracy target, and he had stuff on board. So, just assault warning.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Now, before we get too bogged down into the video, I, thought that I would mention, given the weather at the moment and the fact that we're having hurricane-strong winds hitting the country, that, if you ever feel like donating to a small animal rescue in the UK, there is a link to the Facebook page, and you can happily help us out with the rescue that my other half runs, and I spend a lot of money on. So we're going to take a pause to take a quick look at what you guys sponsor. With your guys' views, you help out Big Red Rooster Cockerel Rescue, helping out cocks of all sizes, all shapes, and for the love of the cock, keep watching so we can raise money for this lovely little animal rescue and save birds like my little co-pilot here. Now, there's two things that I should tell you about this guy that he will say later on, and I will show you the full comments between me and him in full, even my bad spelling mistakes and the fact I use you instead of your on an occasion. I think I use your instead of you are, because I'm an idiot. But yeah, he had all sorts of rubbish on board. By the time I sent him the message about piracy, he had logged. Now, he says he menu logged on both occasions, which I am suspicious of because the second log is way too fast for a menu log. So that does make me highly suspicious. And so there we go. By the time I got to type 5 tons please, he's already logged. He said I didn't message him, which I did. He said he was showing a newbie how to play. So I presume this is a newbie that was around his house, but that wouldn't make any sense because he didn't have any multi-crew. He wasn't in a wing with anybody. If he had somebody around his house, then all he did is show them how to get angry and send messages to someone for an hour, spamming them. As you can see, he logged back into the instance, which is usually a sign that someone did combat log and not menu log, but there we go. So he jumps up again. Now, from the point I interdict him to this second log, it's too short a time. The in danger timer lasts 15 seconds. It's about 6 or 7 between now and him logging out. And even if it hit it like before he jumped up, which is he wouldn't have hit it before he jumped up because you can't then leave the screen to jump up. So he couldn't have hit it any sooner than when he was back in Super Cruise. And even if you take that into account, he's out of the game before 15 seconds are up. So clearly that's not a menu log. That is someone that logged. But I at this point I'm like, I don't really care because it's just rude. You're logging out on people to avoid piracy. It's just kind of lame. You're in an anaconda, you've got tons of cargo on board, it is all valueless rubbish, but you want to hang on to 5 tons that badly that you're going to log on the pirate. This sort of thing doesn't detract from my evening too much, and I must admit I was happy to farm him for as much comments as possible, because it's just funnier that way. And as we see, this is what FDev say. As we all know, it is cheating to combat log. It's against FDev's terms of service and against the terms of service of Microsoft. So, people out there that are doing it, be warned. You're risking your account. I don't know why you would do that, but you are.
Carry on playing this for a while. No, all right, anyway.
We actually shut the stream down, but we're going to keep playing here, so...
Look, I'm not allowed to because it's technically combat logging, so what I'll do is I'll leave this running and then see if my multi-crew companions can...
See, even FDev say, and thanks to Devo for the clip, that it's technically combat logging if you just log out while in combat, and that includes from the interdiction until the action's over. You're not actually technically in a fight when you're dealing with piracy, but you're still under the in danger timer, the 15-second timer. There isn't an MMO in the world that allows you to just hard dashboard every time you interact with another player. I mean, at this point I've pretty much heard every lame excuse going, and they are all pretty lame. There isn't, you know, any genuine reason why you would combat log. It is just a bag full of excuses. It's embarrassing, it's a bit cringy, but that's the way it goes. So anyway, so this guy was, you know, messaging me, you know, straight away before I managed to type this message out, which, you know, I still managed to send it. But yeah, he was very quick typing back to me. I was a little more delayed in typing back to him because I had another target straight away drop in, and as you can see, he's messaged me already. And yeah, I'll have a read of it, but like, you know, I'm going to focus on the actual player that I'm engaged with. And yeah, so I managed to get some piracy done, which is great. This commander, I've added him, and at some point if I see him on and I've got 20 wing missions stack up, he is getting his fair share of cargo missions. Yeah, I will happily give this guy 500 million credits worth of cargo missions and wing shared missions to say thank you for being a good sport about piracy. Because I don't do piracy to be mean to people. I don't do piracy out of spite. It's not ganking. I'm not hating on anyone. I do it because it's entertaining for people. A little bit of excitement while you're trading, that little bit of fun role play. Most people enjoy it. Some people don't. But most people, they actually get it. They understand that it is part of the game and it is a bit of fun. And we as pirates in the Dark Marauders have always sort of enjoyed the piracy, the role play, the never knowing what's going to happen next. And yeah, even in this instance where I'm hitting him with an FSD missile, which can scare a lot of new players into combat logging, this commander didn't. He's mostly harmless. He lost a few tons and that was it. You know, his piracy encounter wasn't too brutal. I don't think his shields would have held up to too much fire, so I was being gentle given that he's mostly harmless. But you know, he did manage to jump out the first time, so that meant I had to go after him and grab him again. And as he's clearly not going to stop, this time I'll just go straight for the hatch breaker. But the fun and joy of PvP piracy in a lot of cases is the not knowing what's going to happen next. And I honestly didn't know when that first guy logged on me that I was going to be sat messaging him back and forth for an hour while I was sat around Seoul waiting for people to turn up. And it's great for me because, you know, it can get dull sitting around in Seoul waiting for people to turn up. And I was in party chat and we were all having a good giggle at his messages. I was just reading them out to people as he kept firing them off. He was trying to make out I was super angry about him combat logging on me, and it's like, yeah, if I got super angry about people combat logging me, I still wouldn't be playing this game, because I've had hundreds of people log on me, I've had hundreds of people block me, I've had hundreds of people send me abusive messages. None of that bothers me. I just play the game because it's a bit of fun, and I'm way too long in the tooth to give a shit what other people do when they play this game. If you want to cheat, you cheat. You know, I'm not putting these videos out there to get people harassed for being cheats. I'm just putting these videos out there so people can use them to back up the report that person cheated. And all I would encourage everyone who watches this video to do is to message FDev and Xbox and ask them to ban this person for combat logging and cheating, for using an exploit to evade piracy and combat. Only the guy in that first clip, obviously, because this guy was wonderful, this guy was lovely, and this guy played the game correctly, which is why he's going to get rewarded with the share of 20 wing missions. And in fact, that might be more than one share of 20 wing missions, because I'll do it when I see him on and I haven't got 4 people in my wing. He'll just go on the list of people that I share wing missions with, because that's generally what I do to people that are nice and enjoy piracy. It's the ones that are unpleasant and log that I just haven't got time for. Only it's that simple. If you don't want to play and you just want to pull the plug whenever you interact with another human being, I don't want to play with you. So I don't care if you block me, I don't care if you log on me. I have no desire to interact with you, and you seemingly have no desire to interact with me, so don't. That makes my life a lot easier. If you sit and play in solo and private group and let me get on with open, I'm all the happier for it. And if you can't, you know, cope in open, you know, is a rough and tumble environment that can include other players attacking you, maybe the private groups is the best choice for you. There are so many loggers out there, and like I said, I've heard every lame excuse going, from the bizarre to the very sick. You know, I think the weirdest excuse I've ever heard is somebody somebody combat logged on a load of people, and when they were getting stick for it over Facebook, they claimed they logged because their baby had died, and then spent the next year or so sending random pictures off the internet of dead babies to the person who said they combat logged. It was very cringy and very, very weird and quite disturbing in a lot of ways, especially as there was no real dead baby involved, which was easily debunked because this person was known to everyone on Facebook. So absolutely ridiculous lie to tell about things, and an absolutely disgusting thing to do. But that's like the weirdest end of the spectrum when it comes to excuses for combat logging. The general one I get, the most common, is because I can. It's part of the game. The game allows you to do it. You can just switch off. You know. Yep. Always make sure it's an 07, not 07, because it is the little head and the big arm for the salute. So by the time I got back to my carrier after messaging Indica, and it was Indica who dropped in on that bit of piracy a minute ago, so he's trying to get into piracy and he's not having much luck, but as you can see, it was just straight backwards and forwards. As soon as I replied, he replied immediately. And I said it was no skin off my nose, you know, him cheating on me, because I just pirated the next person that came along. However, combat loggers always want to paint you as the bad guy, the griefer, or the angry guy that's really seething and coping because they cheated. I'm like, no, none of that. Don't really care. You seem to be more upset than me. I'm just getting on with playing the game. You're sitting there bashing out keyboard warrior stuff. It's not a problem. I'm just milking and, you know, harvesting for content at this point. You know, he definitely he seemed to get triggered quite rapidly by some of the responses that I sent back. But like, it isn't any skin off my nose, and as you can see, I'm not lying. I did just rob the next guy that come along, and I robbed the next guy that come along, because Cthulhu had said he'd come along with some rare goods for me, and this is more of a gift than piracy. This is someone sort of offering themselves up as tribute, so that's quite sweet of him. He often sees that we're over pirating, and you know, knows that we can often have a slack day or a boring day, so nice of him to pop over with some cargo. And I just had to escape this interdiction from this NPC before I was able to get on with the piracy. Kind of a pain, but there we go. If Cthulhu wondered what I was doing, that's what I was doing. It's the joy of being a really wanted ship all the time. Oddly, even though this is probably my toughest pirate ship, it's also my best undermining ship. I do occasionally switch the weapons out so I don't have the two fixed missiles when I do the undermining. I put a couple of pulse lasers on there for extra firepower. But yeah, I mean, within the beam lasers and that, it's a really useful little ship for PvE stuff, and that includes undermining, which I do a fair amount of, because power play, you know, it's yeah, always trying to push the other powers into a CC deficit and doing undermining and annoying other bad guys. And I gotta say, this was a lovely gift to receive from a lawful commander that has been playing this game a long time. And yeah, I think he realizes that, you know, we're not trying to ruin the game as pirates. We're not trying to force anyone off the game. We're not bullying anyone or really horrific. We just have fun at roleplay pirates. And I think a lot of the cheat base, the people who cheat, they don't really take the time to bother to find out what you're up to. They just pull the plug too early and then start like calling you out for being gankers or this, that and the other before they find out you're actually just doing piracy, and it would have cost them a few tons of cargo and that would have been it. Or even worse, they combat log even though they had no cargo on board. And I've had ones where they've combat logged before I've even been able to say no cargo, free to go. And it literally, that was it. There was going to be no attack, no aggression, no horror show, no death, murder or anything like that. Just a pleasant no cargo, free to go. And yeah, especially cringe when they cheat on that. But all in all, I had a fun evening's entertainment in Elite Dangerous on the Legacy version on Xbox. You know, I managed to play for a few hours in the evening. I managed to get some piracy done. Managed to get some tons on the piracy tonnage scoreboard within the Dark Marauders, which is basically all I care about at this point. It's just keeping the Dark Marauders ticking over as PvP pirates in Elite Dangerous, known PvP pirates in Elite Dangerous. because that's where we deserve to be. That's what we've worked hard to be. A recognizable name of, you know, decent, fun piracy and roleplay piracy in Elite Dangerous. There might be a few of us left, and we might not be as active as we used to be, but, you know, traders out there, you know, it's nice when they run into us and they interact and have fun with it. Some people see what we do as a horror show and a nightmare, but like, as far as I'm concerned, we're keeping this game alive by keeping it have some interaction with other players. Because if we didn't have interaction with other players, whether that be ganking, piracy, or power play attacks, or PvP, you know, you might as well play in private group or solo. You might as well play in solo if you don't want to interact with other players in any way, shape or form, and you think everyone that tries to pirate you is just angry and coping, you know. So as promised, here are the messages in full, with a little bit of a warning.
Down here, salt is a way of life.
Obviously, the environment down here is all salt. The ceiling's salt, the floor is salt, the walls are salt, and to an extent, the air is salt.
I mean, the fact it spanned 4 pages when I went into my Xbox feed on my computer was quite impressive. It was a back and forth and a back and forth and a back and forth. We went through the generally that, you know, he didn't do anything wrong, that he used the menu log, even though I pointed out he didn't have time to do that. And it's like, you know, it was definitely a combat log, so I add lying to the equation. You know, apparently I'm still crying over it. It's like, no, I'm just milking at this point. I'm quite happy, you know. And to live rent-free in my head, you really have to go through a lot of work. You really have to go some to get there. Because I post these videos, and by the time they come out, the person who's blocked me, well, generally the logger blocks me. These videos come out, and they're soon forgotten. I might run into this guy in 6 months, a year, and I won't remember who he is. I very rarely remember. It takes me ages to remember who people are in this game. You know, I'm not the keeper of all knowledge of commanders. I don't remember when I meet people or pirate them. I mean, I pirate people all the time. So, as the famous saying going, to you it was an important part of your Elite Dangerous career. To me, it was just a Thursday. And, yeah. If you want to read the messages in full, I would recommend pausing and having a look. But, yeah, just I would recommend reporting this person, and let's see if we can get them banned. But that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I didn't expect that.
Boy, that escalated quickly.